Good Wednesday morning. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still here back taking a look at the tropics as we are going to be tracking our potential next named storm. That's going to be Jerry. That potentially, though, also could have an impact on our weather as we head on in through the weekend. Here's what I'm tracking for the day, though. Lots of sunshine, a few fair weather clouds, and refreshing cool temperatures both this morning and tomorrow morning, and even headed in towards the next couple days. Remaining below normal. Now, we do set up for a 50-50 weekend. Saturday, definitely the best day, and then showers and storms in here on Sunday from a cold front. And that cold front potentially could have the next named storm. As I mentioned, it will be Jerry along with us here, and that potentially could have an indirect impact on us here in eastern Carolina. We're kind of into the boring storm names now. We've got Jerry and Karen. No offense to anybody, but, keep in mind we've had Umberto and Gabrielle and Chantal. Now we got Jerry and Karen. So it is what it is. Just kidding. Let's take a look and see what we're dealing with for your Storm Track 12 forecast for our Wednesday. Mixture of sun and clouds, still on the comfortable side, low to mid-70s. That's going to do it with those northeasterly winds, especially this afternoon. Those clouds more so along east of Highway 17. A few clouds overnight tonight, but otherwise cool, refreshing temperatures. Yet again, I wouldn't doubt if we got some upper 40s showing up like we had this morning. A little bit more cloud cover tomorrow, especially the high and mid-level variety. Also slightly warmer. That's what's going to be bringing in the high and mid-level clouds, is that slightly warmer temperatures. We'll see temps in the mid to upper 70s, so still, again, below normal for this time of year. Here's where we bottomed out at this morning. 48 in Ahoskie, Greenville 49 in Rocky Mount, 52 in Kinston, 53 in Washington. So it definitely was on the cooler side this morning. Didn't set any records, though. Record in New Bern was 52. We only got down to 57. And I believe the record in Greenville was 41, so we only got down to 48. So it was chilly, but as I mentioned, did not set any records for us here with a record low start. All this cool air is being delivered because of the way the jet stream is configured, and it's also very important into how our weekend forecast is going to be going. Notice the upper level ridge sitting down here over the Gulf Coast states. Normally, you look down underneath for potential trouble, and that's where we have our potential developing storm that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Notice, though, as we go on through the next couple days, the upper level ridge kind of reconfigures itself, presses up in the Tennessee Valley. Still dealing with a northwesterly flow over us at the upper levels as we head in through the day tomorrow, with the upper level high sitting here, the low level high sitting there, and the surface winds out of that northeasterly direction. That's going to continue to bring some of that moisture in for us here, especially along and east of Highway 17. Notice, though, as we go into Friday, the trough starts to slightly move eastbound here. So we've got, the ridge rather, excuse me. So we've got the ridge axis just towards our west, but as a result here, close enough, that's going to allow us to see some of that sunshine break in here. Now, here's what we want to key on. This trough digging in back here. This is what's going to be reaching down in towards the Gulf Coast states here as we head on into the weekend. And as a result, it is going to try to pull whatever tropical system is down here up, let's at least say towards Florida. We'll talk about some of the model runs here in a minute, but at least let's get it towards Florida first, which is different than the pattern we've seen recently where most of the storms that develop down there in the Yucatan, the Bay of Campeche, end up heading in towards Mexico. So notice as we go in through Sunday, this is the GFS model. It wants to cut off an upper level low sitting here across the Tennessee Valley. That's possible, and depending on where it ultimately sets up, depends on if anything comes out of the Gulf, exactly where it would go. Will it stay further off in the Bahamas? Will it try to turn up the coast here? Again, this upper level low and where it ultimately establishes itself is going to be key. So that is something we'll continue to track as we head on in through the next couple days here. Notice the tropics do remain fairly quiet. We've got Umberto out there fairly far north in latitude. No real waves coming off of the African continent to talk about. In fact, let's talk about Umberto since that's really the only thing out there. Still holding on barely as a tropical storm. Got a feeling the Hurricane Center is probably going to downgrade this later on today once we start to get some visible satellite pictures out of there. And again, like I said, fairly far north in latitude, 31.4 north, 43.7 west. So it's pretty far in north and east of any land masses here. That generally puts us around 2,000 miles to the east, southeast of us here in eastern Carolina. Umberto is basically going to get swept up as a result of this front that is working its way through the central Atlantic. But here's what we want to talk about as we head on into the Gulf of Mexico area here. A lot of thunderstorm action once again in the southwest Caribbean. Another area of low pressure trying to develop there in the Bay of Campeche. But again, as I said, the little bit different twist this time is the forecast models are showing it not heading into Mexico, although it gets close, but then it kind of takes that little bit of a right-hand turn and works its way back out in towards the Gulf of Mexico area there, and as a result, we'll be tracking where potentially it could go. So the next several days, high pressure is in control of our weather. No real change there, although, as I mentioned, a little bit more high-level cloudiness. That's a sign of the warmer air starting to move its way in here, and we'll definitely see that as we head in through the day on Friday as we get temperatures back up to near normal. Now, the cold front coming through, that's with that trough, and that's going to be key as to how that interacts with whatever is in the Gulf. It may be a tropical system, it may not, it may be named, unnamed. We'll have to wait and see. And then again, how it interacts. But it does look like it is going to pull at least some of the moisture out of it up into the Tennessee Valley and the deep south here. So we'll be watching clouds increase during the day on Saturday. Showers and thunderstorms do start to develop as that front gets closer as we go into the day on Sunday. And then we'll have to wait and see just what is left of anything there in the Gulf to potentially get pulled northbound as they head into the Bahamas. Again, a lot of questions on that. We're just starting to get a handle on the system trying to develop first, let alone how it potentially would have an impact on us. But that's something we'll continue to track and keep you updated on. At least right now, I don't look for a direct hit to us from that system. More likely it would be anything. It would be the rain. So we've got the golden ice on the forecast for the next couple days for the autumnal equinox on Sunday at 4:44 in the afternoon. Look for scattered showers and storms that'll be around. And again, the front kind of stalls out over us Monday, Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday. And really depending on just what comes out of the Gulf, how much input that has and the influence on our weather for early next week. But at least for the next several days for the Lenore County Fair, we've got a nice stretch of weather that's going to be headed our way. Have yourself a good Wednesday. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.